Welcome to Sheridan, Wyoming, found deep in the heart of the American West. Sheridan is steeped in Western tradition spanning all things mountains and all things cowboy. The region is also becoming known for the fantastic fly fishing opportunities it affords during the summer months. Uncrowded rivers teeming with rainbow, cutthroat, and brown trout. Rare are the days you fish crowds. Well, we're in Sheridan a little later in the season, October to be exact, with the sole purpose to experience this fantastic fishery when there are even less people on the water. While most anglers have put their fly rods away to partake in other outdoor pursuits, fall time in Sheridan is prime time to catch and release pre-spawn browns, rainbow, and cutthroat trout. We're making our home base for this adventure right downtown in Sheridan, Wyoming, steps away from the fly shop of the Bighorns. A full-service fly shop, and of equal importance, the home of Rock Creek Anglers, a guide service company serving the Sheridan area and points beyond. The fly shop of the Bighorns is run by Peter Widener, lifelong Sheridan resident, lifelong fly fisher, and all-around fantastic resource for all things fly fishing in Sheridan and the state of Wyoming. Rock Creek Anglers Guide Service is headed by Clark Smythe, another well-fished Wyomingite dedicated to exploring, conserving, and enjoying the amazing fisheries in the state. Wyoming is unique with respect to the reputation it has for fly fishing. Some anglers have heard of Wyoming, some even travel to the state. However, as locals know, the fish here aren't pressured like many neighboring states, and there are literally countless opportunities to target multi-species fish in both still and moving water statewide. Sheridan, Wyoming is based in the foothills of the Bighorn National Forest, and as fly anglers who travel, the old adage stands true: you have to fish it as you find it. Upon our arrival in Sheridan, and after having a short poke at some local creeks, the weather turned to pure October. So we immediately loaded up and headed out with Peter, Clark, and our crew for the day to a Wyoming river a short drive away. On this day, we're fishing Wyoming's infamous Bighorn River, and despite the snow in the higher Wyoming elevations, here the weather is nice. But is it conducive to catching trout on fly? Man, Peter, what a fantastic day. Another banner day for fishing in Wyoming, another fantastic Wyoming river.
Absolutely. You know, today we're actually hoping we'd have some clouds,
right,
so we could, the bait fishing would be a little better, hopefully, but we still may get them.
All right.
So we're hoping.
Am I fishing with you today?
You're going to fish with Alyssa Halls at Owl Creek Outfitters. She's amazing, super fishy, fun to fish with. Both our companies work together well, and
cool.
Yeah, she knows the area well.
Let's get these boats launched then.
Let's
do it. Alyssa Halls has been a full-time fly fishing guide for years, learning her craft on the steelhead rivers of the American West, hosting trips in Alaska, and trout bumming all around the United States. Today, we find her guiding all over her home state of Wyoming and running Owl Creek flies with her husband Neil. We got loaded up and begin our day floating the Bighorn. The Bighorn River in Wyoming is an absolutely amazing fishery that you can fish year-round for big, healthy browns, rainbows, and the occasional cutthroat trout. It definitely helps to fish this river from a drift boat, as it's a large river. The Bighorn boasts roughly 3,000 trout per mile, and the scenery is not too bad either. We start throwing streamers, custom patterns, tied by Alyssa.
I say default is strip fast, and I'll let you know when you can strip it a little bit slower.
All right. Now, do these fish generally relate to strictly to the banks, or will they sit behind boulders and stuff in the main river as well?
Yeah, mostly in front of boulders.
Yeah. Is
what I've found. Cast it over to the left over here. See this, you know, this shallow zone in front of the island. Stuff like that where it's structure simply because the island breaks the current, you know.
Yeah.
They're moving into shallower and shallower water right now.
The fish are?
Yeah. Don't be afraid of the sun.
Is that what it is?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've seen it illustrated over the last couple weeks where, I mean, it's like night and day with the clouds. The clouds will come out and you'll hook one every 5 minutes. The clouds will go away and you won't see one for an hour. They get a little skittish.
With this bright bluebird sky, we decide to make a change. Switch to a nymph rig under an indicator and find almost immediate success.
There's one. Nice.
That thing hit like a ton of bricks, man.
Yeah.
There's no mistaking that
Probably
fish.
on the zertle or the crane fly, I imagine.
Whoa. Just loving the boat.
Yeah. Nice bow.
Nice rainbow. Sweet. All right.
Gorgeous.
Good fish.
All right. We're looking at an average size of about 16 to 18 inches.
Yep.
This is a little thin for a fish down here. They tend to get pretty chunky.
All right. There she goes. That is fantastic. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Welcome to Dubois, Wyoming in Wind River country. Dubois, nestled in the Wind River Valley, brings you back to the old days of the cowboy, with its culture, boardwalk sidewalks, and the unmistakable frontier days feel you get walking the main drag. The Wind River runs straight through the heart of town and adds a fly fishing flair to all that is cowboy here in Wind River country. With seamless countless opportunities for anglers to explore on foot, by drift boat, or a drive-to tributary, the fishing in Dubois and the surrounding area is tremendous. On this Wyoming adventure, we're staying with good friend Jeremy Prine. Jeremy runs Dubois Fishing Adventures and family-owned Ram's Horn Guest Ranch. The ranch is perfectly positioned in the heart of the Absaroka Mountains, with access to multiple rivers and high mountain streams for rainbow, brown trout, and the jewel of Wind River country, the Yellowstone Cutthroat. Ram's Horn Guest Ranch is located centrally to access all that Wind River country has to offer. Joining us on this small stream adventure is expert guide Noah Stutter and good friend Tom Rosenbauer.
Well, things are starting to heat up.
Tom and I are here to experience all that Dubois and the Wind River region has to offer. Most exciting for us are the small mountain streams and small rivers in the area, all chock full of wild trout. Small stream fishing speaks to the essence of the beginnings of fly fishing for many of us. Stealthily hunting fish on small meandering creeks, ever so mindful of each step and movement. It takes us back to our beginnings, and even more excitedly, the future beginnings of many new anglers getting into fly fishing. Our first day at Dubois Fishing Adventures finds us loading up and heading into the mountains, admittedly onto one of the most beautiful trout streams we've ever seen. We approach a run and are immediately left in awe with what unfolds in front of us. I draw the short straw. Tom's up first.
So I'm chomping at the bit to go and catch these rising cutthroats behind me. But before I jump in the water and ruin everything, I want to talk to you a little bit about why those fish are there and how you can use that reading the water. So in a high mountain stream like this, the water's really clear. You don't see any algae on the rocks. The rocks are very clean. There's not a lot of food here. So those fish are going to have to be in that main current thread to catch all the food that's drifting down. So when you're prospecting and you don't see anything rising like this, that's where you want to look. So I've got a bunch of cutthroats rising up here in this pool, a whole pile of them. And I put on a big attractor dry, which usually works for cutthroats, but it didn't work. So I'm going to have to match the hatch. And I seen some kind of olivey, fairly good-sized mayflies here along the rocks. So I'm going to put on a mayfly emerger and see what I can do with these fish. Whoa, that's a nice fish. I can't see him. I didn't know how close he was to the net. There he comes. Whoa. Ah. Woo.
Nice job, Tom.
Wow. That is a beautiful cutthroat. another look.
What if I were to tell you I found a place in mid-country America steeped in Western tradition? A place where wild rivers cut the landscape, feeding wildlife and the land. What if I were to tell you I found a place where you can drive to world-class water and experience this all to yourself? A place where you can get on the hunt and target unpressured fish with incredibly generous offerings. Where high mountain creeks and small farmland streams are teeming with trout.
There we go. Nice fish.
This place does exist. And it's fly fishing paradise. First cast of the day.
Right there. Nice shot.
Join me, won't you?
Coming up on this episode of The New Fly Fisher, we're in Sheridan, Wyoming. We're after all kinds of different species of trout, but we're doing it very uniquely, DIY and guided, out of Fly Shop of the Bighorns. This big fish adventure is coming up next on The New Fly Fisher.
We begin our first day at Rock Creek Anglers getting the lowdown on where to go for our first do-it-yourself day in Sheridan County. High mountain creeks on the hunt for catch and release regulated cutthroat and rainbows. So we cross the Bighorn Mountains and position ourselves on a small creek on public land. A creek you can drive to. In this little stream, there are two different strains of cutthroat trout, Snake River cutties and the Yellowstone River strain. They are most easily identifiable by their spot patterns. Snake River cutthroat are basically uniformly spotted all along the body with smaller spots, while the Yellowstone strain has more pronounced patterning towards the tail of the fish and the spots are bigger. Regardless, they are both cutthroat and tend to eat very differently than other species.
Fish. What's a good one too? Oh, right under the bank. It's one of the things I love about fishing in Wyoming is you have the opportunity to do one of two things. You can either go to a shop like the Fly Shop of the Bighorns and get a guide to take you on private water or water around the state, or you can actually do it by yourself, DIY, and that's what we're doing here today. And we're catching cutthroat and dry fly cutthroat. There's caddis in the air, which means there's caddis on the water, which means I've just hooked a Snake River cutthroat. I love do-it-yourself fishing. There's nothing more fun than figuring things out, doing the adventure, finding the river, finding the fish, hooking the fish, and letting them go. Now we're gonna play this guy downstream a little bit so that I don't spook the rest of this pool out. But cutthroat generally are fish that'll rebound pretty quickly from being freaked out. Awesome. Now, obviously, there's a reason why these fish are called cutthroat, and I'll show you. This isn't a big one by any means. You can catch them up 24 inches, but there's your fish. Just incredible. Look at the gash on the bottom of its jaw, which insinuates why they call it a cutthroat. The fish, now look at the beauty of these cutthroat trout here in Wyoming, just incredible. So much fun to catch on dry fly. Size 20, caddis, there you go. Now there are tons and tons of cutthroat trout in this river. We're gonna take some time, pick it apart, and see what we can come up with.
The West is full of quirky mountain towns that are well known by outdoor lovers like Jackson Hole, Boulder, and Missoula. But there are plenty more that are lesser known and have loads of charm and have outstanding fishing within a very short distance of town. Lander, Wyoming is one such town. There's a vibrant energy in this community with funky shops and art galleries, locally owned restaurants, and old school watering holes. Lander's accessible from a wonderful regional airport out of Riverton, but if you like to drive, you can also access it from Casper and Jackson Hole.
What an absolutely beautiful morning. We're about 10 minutes south of the town of Lander here in Wind River Country, Wyoming, on this great little high mountain stream. We're at about 7,500 feet elevation, and we're on this search this morning for browns and rainbows. I'm going to start with a dry fly with a perdigon nymph underneath and see what happens on the day. It's first thing in the morning, the sun is high, it is getting warmer, and today should be a fantastic day. Here we go. Whitefish. Now, I'm not concerned about catching a whitefish here out of this pool right away, because if you're catching whitefish, that's where the trout live, right? They often cohabitate together, and now I can get this guy out of the system and focus on catching brown trout. Still fun on fly. All right, little rainbow. Right at the tail of this little pool. Whoa! Little water walker. Took the nymph right away. Right at the tail. Now these are barbless, so you need to keep tight with them all the time. The water's freezing cold. It got down to about 39 degrees last night, just above freezing. There you go. Great fish to start the day. Okay, let him go. He's gone.
This stream is much more wide open than the stream yesterday, making stealth even more important. The stream yesterday had mostly plunge pools that were very noisy. This noise allows you to get closer to the fish. Today, however, we have slower moving water with little sound. I have to make sure I don't make any noise or get too close. Fish have excellent hearing and sight. Notice I stay far back and cast to my target.
There he is. All right. So this one took the nymph. I think this is the fish that came up and tried to eat the dry, missed it, and then a couple casts later came back and ate the nymph. Nice fish. So the adage does bear true, you know, you can catch all kinds of fish in Lander and around Lander. Some of them may be smaller, but the further you get out of town, the bigger the fish get. And this guy, that perdigon fell out, is a great rainbow trout. How do you like that, huh? Perfecto. All right, so here's the fly I'm using. It's a George Hunker Special. It's a tungsten bead-headed nymph, perdigon nymph, with a red collar. Looks like it's got some copper or brownish thread around the shank of the hook. Barbless, and so far, it's doing fantastic. Another little guy, right on the drop. Little brown trout, nice. Rainbows and browns. There we go. Oh, that's a great looking brown trout, man. Again, ate the nymph. All right, let's get this little dude unbuttoned. That fly just falls out, he's gone. Now, in talking with local guide George Hunker here, who fishes out of Lander, he's the one that turned me onto this little river. And he said that you catch a lot of little fish, which is great fun on dries and with the dry dropper. He said, but you do have a chance at catching a big one, like a 20-inch brown trout or a 20-inch rainbow. That's what we're hoping for today, but if it doesn't come to fruition, it doesn't come to fruition. We're still having a blast. Better to be lucky than good. I was just moving up into the pool and I guess I moved my rod tip a little bit and this brown trout came and ate the nymph. A little deeper fish, the best fish of the day. I did not catch this fish caught itself, to be completely honest with you. I was moving to try to make my next cast and this little dude, this nice fish, for a small stream came and ate this nymph. And I'm here to tell you that this is the kind of fish that they make stickers out of, for sure. Are you kidding me? All right, this makes it worth it. All the small fish you plow through, which are so fun to tie lock horns and be able to catch and release one of these brown trout. Let's take a look at this guy. How do you like that? Gorgeous brown trout in high mountain streams just outside of Lander, Wyoming, on a do-it-yourself. Just perfect. All right, let's let this guy go. Coming up on this episode of the New Fly Fisher, we're hooked up to a great rainbow trout here in Casper, Wyoming. We're guests of the Ugly Bug Fly Shop and the Crazy Rainbow Lodge. This big fish adventure is coming up next on the New Fly Fisher. This is our final day in Casper fishing with the Ugly Bug Fly Shop and Crazy Rainbow Lodge. Today we have the pleasure of being guided by Addie Dees, a well-accomplished angler and guide unto her own right. Addie's choice? Poppers, of course. Perfect.
Yep. Every day is a little bit different, and every guide fishes this river a little bit different.
Right, yeah.
And every client's expectations are a little bit different.
Of course.
So I try and manage those expectations as I get to know them on the river that day and even before the trip.
Yeah, and you and I had a conversation at the shop a couple of days ago, and you know, we talked about what those expectations were, and I think that's a very important part of, you know, me, not only, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you as a guide, but as a client, you got to understand, you know, how your guide fishes and how that day is going to shape up. So, you know, awesome fish. Look at that.
Nice work.
The first one of the day. Fantastic. It's a good one. Nice. Addie spotted that fish off this point and pointed it out to me. And sure enough, first drift through, sure success. I can't believe a system where the average size of rainbow is like 17 inches.
It's pretty impressive.
Sweet. There we go, fish. Wow, what a jump. Whoa, again.
Nice.
Oh,
Way to
these
stay
fish
on them.
are fantastic, just amazing. Again, the dead drift is the key. Any movement on that hopper, other than the natural undulation of the rubber legs, and they will not go near it. We even had a fish just a little while ago come up and stare at it and turn around and leave. So practice your casting, be able to put it where you want to. August is the time to come to Wyoming and fish, especially with the ugly bug.
Putting that rod to work.
Yeah, it is. And you also have grass that you're dealing with, as you can clearly see. You need to keep those fish up high.
Head up.
Amazing. Whew, what a fish. What a fight. Right back to the bottom. Thanks so much.
You bet.
What an unbelievable time we've had here just outside of Casper, Wyoming on the North Platte River. It has been absolutely unbelievable. I want to thank everybody at the Ugly Bug Fly Shop and of course at the Crazy Rainbow Lodge. It has been wonderful. You need to come here and do it for yourself. For everybody at the New Fly Fisher, my name's Mark Melnick. Thank you for watching. Remember, adventure is out there. All you have to do is go and find it. And what better way than to do it with a fly rod in your hand. From everybody at the New Fly Fisher, thanks for watching, and we're gonna see you in the Midwest.